Alright, we're back. So now we got some bearings here. Here's our cages we're going to use. And this is the old panhead style shovelhead cage, which I like. Two separate bearings. You got the most amount of rollers in there. They're nice long rollers, and you got lots of bearing sizes available. So you can do just about anything you want. So it's all pluses. The negative to the factory is it takes longer to put together. We don't care about time. Okay, so first thing I do is got to measure the crank, see what size it is. And I'm going to measure the case race, see what size it is, and then I'll know about where I'm at on bearing clearance. Okay, looks like initially we're about a quarter of a thou to a third of a thou undersize. So you can flip the mic over so you can see the veneer scale. Looks like we're at 7/10, which would be a third of a thou under. Light sucks around here. And we're right at 7. Try to get close in as we can get. You can't measure all the way inside the shaft because the flywheel's in the way for the mic. Okay, looks like we're right between 6 and 7 on the mic, so we're going to call it 7. So you look right over here. You can see the scale there. So you just line up your veneer scale. 7's pretty close. And 8's pretty close right now by just hanging here. When you tighten it up, it goes to 7. Okay, so that's how you use the mic. You got to measure it. And then over here it tells you which size you're over here. 0 would be a 1/4 inch. Get where you can see it. So you can see how we're a little bit under 0. That's the 3/10 we're talking about. Alright, so we're 3/10 under. We need basically a thou clearance. That means you got to go 7/10 over to have your number. Now, as I recall, this is like 18/10. That's another thou bigger than that. So you have to make up that with rollers. So rollers are twice, because they're on each side of the shaft. So that'd be, if you need 1 thou more clearance take up, you divide it by 2. 5/10 is the roller we need. Then it'll make a 5/10. So we're either going to use a 4/10 or a 6/10. Chances are it's going to be a 6/10. So these are the 4/10 right here, because most of the time the rollers are undersized. 4s are actually 2s and vice versa. Alright, so I'm going to get some different bearings here and see what we got, and I'll be back. Okay, back at it again. Alright, got some bigger sizes here. Okay, well, I'm going to measure, do some more measuring here. Bore gauge here. We got to set it for the temperature right now. So every time you use this, it's different. So right now we're off by about a thou, it looks like. Get that where I can see it though. Makes a difference. Oh yeah, it's at least a thou, or a 1/10 thou. Excuse me. Those aren't thousands. Those are 10ths. Okay, so now you can kind of see where I was at. I can't see it right now, but that should be about 0 now, hopefully. But here where I'm at, looks pretty good to me. This thing's cold too. Cold to the touch. That means it's shrunk way up. Everything else is cold to the touch too, so it must just be cold. So everything's got to be the same temperature to be accurate. If it ain't the same temperature, it's not accurate. Okay, now you take the gauge and see where we're really at. Okay, see we shrunk up a couple tenths from temperature from last time I measured it. So now we're around 16 to 17 tenths over. 17 there, about 16 1/4. Okay, so we're 16, 17 now instead of 18, 19 like it was before. That's why you always feel it, because you never know what you got till you actually do it. Okay, we needed, let's see, we're 3 under, we need a thou, that's 7/10 over. We're at 16 to 17, we're still at half a, or 1 thou off, half a thou per roller. Okay, so these are 6/10 rollers here, which might be 6/10 or they might be 4/10. Have to measure them. For some reason they like to undersize rollers on the small ones, but the big ones are on size. So, and each vendor seems to have a different size. Alright, these are supposed to be 1/4 inch. So these appear to be on the bigger side. So you can see how it's over to 0. Go over to your veneer scale. This one appears to be right on the money on 6/10. So if you look at the 6/10 veneer over there, it's on 6. So 6/10 is on 6. Whereas 4/10 might be on 2, or 2 might be on 0, who knows. So that's why you always measure them. And some bags are on size, some bags aren't. This particular bag is on size. These are 6/10 bags. Okay, so these here I'm going to have to hone the race out a little bit more than what I already did. Okay, now let's go see what else we got here. These are in the 4/10 area. Let's see what they actually measure. Standard. That's not a good sign. 1/10. That's not even close. Oh, I see why those are 6/10. Those are 8/10 bearings over there. These are measuring 2/10. So 4/10 is 2/10. The reason these are 6/10 is because they were 8/10 and now they are 6. So I corrected them. That explains why I had an empty box there. That would have been where the 6/10 bearings go. Or maybe that's where the 8/10 bearings are supposed to be. So these are the 8/10 bearings. Yes. So I'm missing 6/10 bearings. Which really means I'm missing 4/10 bearings because these 4s are 2s. So we don't have those. Okay, this is a different supplier here. Let's see what these ones are. Pull out a couple of them, just measure them. These are definitely bigger. Let's see, we are about 3/10. So these 4/10 are almost on size. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're about 3/10. Whoop. Just lost that one on the floor. See, that one's on 3/10. Where'd it go? I heard it. There it is. Right between my feet. So these are actually 4. These are actually 2. At least that's what they seem to be today. So what I should do is put these in a 6 box, and then it would be 6, which is actually 4. Makes perfect sense, doesn't it? And this one is 2. 1.5 to 2, which are 4s. Alright. That's why it's a pain in the ass doing these jobs. Nothing accurate. Now when you set your mic, now 0 to 1 mic's really easy. You go all the way down to 0 and you set it 0. 0, 0. So it's not like my mics are off. At least there's a different way of setting the mic. I don't know. Either way, it don't work. Okay, so I'm either going to be really loose or I'm going to be tight. Okay, so these are 4. What we're going to do is we're going to take the 4/10 bearings. I'm going to try them out. So these here, we just pack them into the cage here. So theoretically, it should give me about 12/10 clearance. Maybe 13. For a hot rod motor, that's fine. So you leave it, you make it a little bit looser on the temp end, you make it a little bit looser on the pinion side also. It allows equal float. It's a used crank, so the rod's loose, so everything's a little loose. That's good. That means you can spin it up pretty good and not have much binding, and it'll live longer. If it starts binding up, it'll actually break quicker. It's kind of the opposite of what a lot of people think. I missed my count by 2, it looks like. Nope, 3. I overcounted by 3. Getting bad in my old age. Go blame it on the weather. Okay, so there's our bearings. Pull the crank out. So this takes 2 washers, one on the outside, one on the inside. So the outside one is easy dirty, and it's got a mark on there where the snap ring goes, which is this part right here. See how they kind of match? That's the outer one. See, the inside is nice and smooth, but it rubs against the bearing cages, see? So I usually put them back the same way. Alright, there's that one. Bearing cages go like this on the bike. It goes over the shaft this way, the rollers to the outside. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put the case on there and see what it feels like. Feels nice and loose. Too loose, so I want to come off. Feels good to me. I like it. Okay, we're going to check though. We're going to take our 6/10 bearings, which were where? Right here. You measure 6 on the money. Just for the hell of it. And take a handful of those. I got way too many. I got carried away on pouring them out. We're going to try this. This should feel pretty tight. Ah, come on. Dumbass. We're over in the hole. This is why Harley doesn't like this method. It takes too long. See? Imagine someone doing this and making thousands of motors. Hundreds of thousands of bikes. So. Yeah, way off on that time. It's 6 too many rollers. I knew that was going to be bad when I did that. 7. Okay, we're going to try this again. It doesn't feel too bad. A little snug. So if it was just an everyday rider, it'd be good. A little bit on the tight side though, but a little bit closer so you can kind of see what's going on here. Yeah, so you lift it up about 1/8 of an inch, get it off the parting lip. See, there's not much clearance. See, it's barely moving. Yeah, it's pretty tight. It's pretty snug. said, if it was going to be a rider that you didn't rev it up very much, it would still be tight. See how the case does not want to come off? That definitely means it's easily tight. Okay, I like the other number better. Like I expected it was going to be. Okay, so we're going to go with the looser one for performance application. It'll be a lot better. So I'm going to put all these back. We got all these bearings here we got to put up now. We're not going to use these. And a quick way of putting bearings back in a bag is called a funnel. Actually works pretty good. See, I'd have to go over and get the funnel. It's a lot of work. So we're going to try it this way. Use my hand as a funnel. Now, if you don't want your rollers to rust, you squirt a little oil in there so they don't rust. My hands have very little acid to them from all the years of solvent. Keep the oils out of my fingers. When I was younger, I had a lot more acid in my hands. But most people will rust stuff pretty quickly if you touch it. My hands are pretty good, but I'll squirt a little bit of something there just to make sure. You know, there's my rollers on the table. You think there's any chance I'm going to put these on here quickly? I doubt it. Be a miracle. We have no miracles today. Yep, worked perfect, see, like it always does. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and poke these in there like normal. Like normal people do it, one at a time. So these are the 4/10 over bearings. Yeah, I've done that before. Where's the washer? I had a washer. There it is. Washer was missing. How'd that happen? See, that goes like that. Alright, I'm going to check this again. Slides on and off relatively easily. And we'll just blow up the camera a little bit. Okay, so now you should be able to see the case wobble a little bit. See how it wobbles a little bit? You can hear it. It's got clearance. Check at the other angle this way. See, first you went like that, now we go like that. That checks the whole diameter. So it might be out of shape. See, that works pretty good. Okay. Roller stay down, that's a good sign. Alright, so I'm good with that. I think that'll work just fine. So, now we're going to do is put this together for real on this part. Put a little bit of oil on here. Just a little bit to start. Throw the washer on there. And put some more oil on it. Okay, we take our bearings, which are right here, slip them on down there, use the wash to keep the bearings from falling off, like that. Wipe off my oil. Okay, if these aren't damaged, I reuse them all the time, because I'm cheap. The camera's blowing up, isn't it? Okay, need a screwdriver. Okay, you take a little bit of screwdriver right here to get the thing to go in there. Right here, catch it on. Now don't bend it out of shape. You don't want it to be a stupid ass spring. You want it to just go on like it's supposed to. Once you get it started, you hook in that first tang. You just roll it around like this. Roll around. It's in there. Okay, once it's in there, then you make sure it's tight in there, or in the groove. You rotate it slightly. Make sure you have in play in your bearing. Very important you have in play. So you make sure this is in there all the way, and you make sure you got in play. See, you got in play, and then make sure everything rotates. No binding. Now, if these cages are made wrong, the rollers will bind on the shaft, which is bad. You don't want no binding. If things are bound up, you got a problem. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil in here just for the hell of it, not too much. Just enough that they won't rust if they get a little water, moisture on them. Of course, you got to be re-cleaned if you do that. So we're going to make sure this thing is nice and clean. We'll put a bag over it, or a rag so it won't get dirty. Because right now, dirt will stick to that real easy because the oil is on it. So you got to make sure it stays clean. Okay, so the other case, we got some other work to do on it yet, so we can't finish this, put the case together. The customer's got to put this together and seal all up himself anyway. I'm just fitting all the parts. So this part is done because he can't do what I just did on all this. This one, the bearing's done because I already did all our fitting. Now when I give it back to him, I just slide it over here, put a couple bolts to hold it together so it'll stay clean and not damaged. And he'll take it back apart and regroup it up. He'll put his case, seal it on, and do what the hell he's going to do. So this is a bit job, which means I'll only do part of the work. Okay, now there's no cam bearing in here yet. I don't have to do no more fitting on this because we already got the bearings we need. So this side is all good, all heat column looks good. What needs to be done on this is I need to line ream the cam cover. So I have to have access to this case to do the line reaming. So that stays off while we do that. So that would be this stuff over here we got to work on. Now for this here, we're going to put a little bit of squirtum in here so that they won't rust. So I like a nice, clean, thin oil, and this cable lid works really good. So you just go like that, a little bit of a squirt. Oops, roll it around a little bit in there, like that. And you can't really see it, but there's a little bit of oil in there now. And that's enough to keep from rusting. And you can wipe it off pretty easy, but the cable lid doesn't leave very much of a texture to it, so it doesn't acid etch the stuff or anything like that. I used to use my CRC, but it kills. So this CRC, when it dries up, it gives a real hard, scaly, or not scale, but a kind of a hard finish on it, and it'll actually acid etch the steel, which will kill it for use, because if you got any kind of marking in the bearing area, it'll pit out like a pothole in the road. So I quit using this stuff for that. This does not work for that kind of application. You can spray this on a big part and then blow it off or wipe it. The residue will stay, but it won't leave a hard, well, what do you call it, like a run. On a paint job, it's like a run. In this case, the run will acid etch the part. So that's the bad part. So that's why I quit using that for this. What I do. This works really good. You can also use like an ATF or a light gear oil or something like that, or real light motor oil, but they're more messy and leave more residue. Alright, so that's why we don't do anything more than that. Okay, so before I get out here tonight, let's see what else we're going to accomplish around here. For now, I'm going to put this right here so it stays clean. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, this is all done up. Put that away in a few minutes. Okay, now this here, we got to check to see what is going on with our clearances here on the parts. We already know this one's loose. Let's see if the cam bearing's loose. Now right now there's a seal in here, so I'm going to knock the seal out. That I just take a long screwdriver like this, stick it on the seal lip, stand it up a little bit, hit my plastic hammer, like this. Now if you use your steel hammer to beat on it, it makes the inside of this handle loose over time, and that's not good. So use this. It doesn't give that shock to it, but it pushes on it enough to get it out. So this one fell out pretty easy. Okay, so now we got access to our cam hole. So I'm going to take my new Crane cam here. Now this is an early motor, but the gear you had laying on was a late gear. The early gear is straight across teeth. This one only has half teeth. So you have to use the correct parts. The difference in the cam gears is this cam gear have a groove around the outside identifying to be in the late gear. And this is the early gear. See, you got that mark going around there. Now sometimes they do it on the teeth, but usually it's on the outside edge here. Now they changed it mid-77, so that's when they changed it. Okay, now I try to not touch anything except the gear teeth because I don't want to get any chance of rust on anything. This over here, I'm going to wipe this down on this side just to make sure it's clean. Stick it in here. And then we see how much looseness we have on this. See how loose it moves out the side? It's got a lot of side to side to it here. See that? Pretty loose. Okay, now what you do, you push straight down and go side to side this way at the gear level. Hear that? Okay, that's not rocking clearance, that's just blatant clearance in the bush. So that's loose, you hear it. Okay, what I like is I don't feel any clearance side to side, but I got rock in it like that. That's what you want. So when they're like this, they're loose. Okay, so everything on this thing is loose, which doesn't surprise me. Now, I still haven't touched my roller area there on the cam. We close it up like that. And that will keep people from touching it and keep it from getting bad. It doesn't hurt to put oil on the stuff too. I'm not much for grease, but oil's there. Okay, now this here is the earlier cam. It's a 21 instead of a 22 number. Now, this one here has been sprayed or put something on it. You can see it. It's got some grease on it, something. It's a little bit more dirtier looking. Now this one here, see how the gear does not have that ring on it. So this is the earlier gear. This also is an induxible gear. See how it's got 3 different grooves in it? Or keyways. So this is the big dollar induxible gear. So you can change the cam timing a few degrees. I think it's 4 degrees difference on each one. So you can make the cam bigger or smaller if you don't like what you have. This one here is a single index. It's only got 1 notch. Now you can put the multi-index gear on any of these cams and make it a multi-index if you want to. So this cam here does not have that. That was a different series of cams. They had the same grind on the shaft. They had 2 different series of cams. One was a Fireball and one was a High Lift. I think the High Lift is the one that had the indexable gear on it, and the Fireball was the one that didn't. Anyway, so this one here I can make whatever I want. Now we're gonna use the late gear for now because that's what he's got. So these two here go together. These are a little bit bigger diameter than the earlier ones, so that means this is smaller. So it matches up. Now you can put 2 smalls together, but not 2 bigs. Now 2 smalls is not good either because it'd be really loose. You get a lot of backlash. But it would bolt together and run. I've seen it done. If you try to put 2 big ones together, it doesn't go together. So he had mismatched stuff before, he said. So anyway. All right. So for now, we're gonna use this late gear for now. So we're going to have to put bushings in this thing and do all that. Okay. Now this cover here is an earlier cover, so it's got pins that hold everything together. The late covers, they just put sleeve retainer Loctite on things and then putting no dowel pins or anything. So usually if they have dowel pins in them, I put them back in. If they don't, I usually don't. Unless it's a heavily abused motor, then I'll put them in anyway. Alright, so now we have to get all this pulled out, do all the bushing work, and line reaming. Okay, so I'll do this later date. It's going on 10 o'clock at night now, so it's a good time to go home. So I'll do this next time. But at least now you see what's going on. I'll probably repeat some of that when I start the video again. Alright, so this one's all cleaned up. So when you're at this stage of the game right now like this, that's all the way down, throw a towel over this thing. That's why I got all these towels laying around here. Make sure you get the lint off the damn things. See that stuff running around? It's called lint. And you throw that thing over there like that, and that'll keep the dirt out. Now, there shouldn't be dirt in my area here, but you never know. There might be an earthquake. There might be some of this drywall come down. You know, maybe this wrench might fall down on it. Well, that wouldn't hurt it. Yeah, you know, whatever. I always throw rags on my stuff when I'm done with it. That way it doesn't get crap in there. I spend a lot of time cleaning this stuff, so you want to keep it clean as you can. That's why you see towels over all kinds of motors everywhere around here. Keeps the crap off them. Alright, so we're going to call it tonight for now. And we'll be back at this tomorrow or next day. I'm not sure what's going on yet. We'll figure it out. That's it for now.